And welcome back to the Short Vol Show, folks. I was away for a couple of days, but am back now. So, anyway, let's get right to the biggest story, which is Facebook in the news beating earnings 169 a share, and it seems to be rescuing the market right now. Let's take a look at our screens here and see what we got going on. Facebook. Well, I'm looking right at the vol right now in the VIX, but with the VIX kind of dipping 1734, still elevated. We've had, I think, we had 5 days in a row of sell-offs, and that tends to elevate the VIX. However, pulling right now back where the VIX is below every future, I believe, or actually it's tied with the second month future, but pretty much right away snapping back into a situation where we should maybe end the day in contango. We'll have to see. It hasn't even opened yet. But Facebook now up, closed 159, now 172 bid. Let's pull up the screen. And, will this be a fade? Will this fade as the day goes on? Or is this everybody's excuse to get back in the markets? We have, the analysis out there has been that earnings have been pretty good, but as savvy traders know, good earnings can mean the market goes down, up, or sideways. It really doesn't matter. And trying to trade the market just based on this sort of fundamental macro thing where you say, well, companies are doing well, so the stock market's going to rally is a little too simplistic. So we did see the VIX kind of spike up. Let's take a look at the chart for the last 5 days. Or here, let's go to a 10-day chart, and we do see the high up here of around almost 20 in the VIX, off of a low of 14.5, somewhere around there. UVXY though, kind of hung in a range between, not as big of a range actually. It was the term structure sort of dampened the move here for UVXY. So between 1745 and 1415. So similar to, actually tighter than the VIX. And you would think a leverage ETF would move more than the move in the VIX. But in this case, when you've got a term structure in contango and then you're kind of switching flipping the script, so to speak, so that you go back into backwardation and it spikes up, you've got the VIX has to go all the way through that term structure and turn that term structure around to actually really have UVXY start moving up again. So the term structure definitely did dampen the upward move on the VIX for UVXY, and so the excitement among longs for volatility. I suspect that most of them, if they were to be honest with you, would tell you they didn't really get the move that they had hoped for, either in the VIX or in UVXY, because, we got like a $1.50, maybe up to $2.50 of movement up over a couple of days, and that's not going to buy you any Mercedes, really. Now we see stuff drifting back down to UVXY right now, 1603. We'll have to see what happens. We've had several days where the pre-market really did not give us an indication of what was going to happen during the day. In fact, what was it, 2 days ago? Pre-market, everything was way up, ended the day way down. So it is what it is. Term structure is pretty flat right now. Let's take a look at it for a second. I had expected, I had high hopes for this earnings cycle, and it really hasn't come through for me. But yeah, we look here now from the lowest. Let's see. So the spot is right at the futures here. So from the lowest of this to the highest is only 1 point. So very tight VIX term structure here. Only 1 point from the lowest part to the highest part. We could hit that wide button and looks really, really flat. So basically what that means is no bias really for long versus short players here. Things are about even. So place your bets and see what happens, because there is no bias right now at all. We do have, as I said, Facebook bid up before the open today, and we do see ES futures up 750, the Dow futures up 44, and NASDAQ up 53 right now, so that's good. IWM has really been, or the Russell has really been outpacing the market lately, and if you look at a longer term Russell chart here, let's look at 180 days. Really, it looks like the low really was. Let me go out a little bit further here. Actually, let's go to the 1 year. Okay, so the low that was put in Feb, it looks like that was definitely the low, and we're heading up from there. However, if you compare that to like the NASDAQ chart, NASDAQ has really, well, kind of looks that way in the NASDAQ chart too. But the ES here, it kind of looks like it's very hard to tell if if it's an uptrend or a downtrend. It's much more of a kind of, I guess, what some chart guys would call an equilibrium pattern coming in here. So the question is the IWM leading everything, and are we going to continue higher, or is stuff going to turn over? I was watching Chart Guys Dan coverage, chartguys.com, of the major indices, and he's kind of has this idea that we're in this kind of long-term thing where we're slowly going to go lower, but it's not going to happen till May. Now, I hesitate to look out that far and make such sure predictions of things, but it'll be interesting to follow what happens. I've been noticing lately with the futures that all of the I'm talking about the VIX futures now. All the VIX futures seem to move in tandem. So, for example, now with VIX down 36, we've got front month down 22, second month 25, third month 20, fourth, fifth month 16. So, like, the whole curve is moving up or down with the VIX right now, and that's kind of interesting. It doesn't seem to know where especially the back months. That's interesting for it. They don't seem to know where to like peg themselves against the VIX. People were pointing to yesterday VIX selling off as an indicator that vol is going to come in, but it's really anybody's guess right now. We do have futures up, but will that last throughout the day? We'll have to wait and see. We had a good few days of contango in there, but not really deep contango, I would say. We were between 0 and 2% contango, which is really minimal. It doesn't really do too much for us. I mean, it means that these products are slowly decaying. Your TVIX and your UVXY are slowly decaying, but not that much, and offset by backwardation for the last day or two. So we'll see. I think we have a good shot of going back into contango today if things continue the way they are. I think the markets could settle down with this major week of tech earnings coming off of the books here and the certainty created by that. Stuff's still swirling around in Washington. People seem to be very concerned about, or very focused on, the 10-year bond yield going above 3% as a sign of inflation, possibly. Now that we've been watching that for a while, and people were surprised sort of last month that it didn't get there, and it's gotten there now. That's kind of as expected. The Fed is in a rate raising stance, and it has said that they are going to raise rates 3 times this year, possibly 4 next year, and you have to expect interest rates to go up in the bonds if you're raising rates, for one thing, and so that's shouldn't be too much of a surprise to people. but people are pointing to that as a reason for the markets not really rallying here. So we'll have to wait and see what happens today. Looking to be a good start with Facebook bid up here. Amazon bid up $30 as well. And we will open in half an hour and we'll see what happens. But I'm happy to be back with you. I was supposed to appear on Forex Analytics tomorrow with Dale Pinkert, and unfortunately I had to cancel because I have this another unfortunate conflict. But sorry about that, Dale. I was looking forward to coming on and talking with you, but we will hopefully reschedule for that for sometime in July. And it's fun to be back. Thanks for watching, and check in with me tomorrow. Actually, I will be off tomorrow, but maybe I can put something in for later today or Saturday. I am looking to normalize the show and have specific hours. It's probably going to be something like Sunday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday at 8 in the morning, something like that. I'm looking to just have regular hours for the show so people know exactly when it is. That makes things easier for everyone all around. And I am talking with advertisers right now. So exciting stuff coming up. Thank you for everybody who has supported me and continues to do so. It's without you, the show wouldn't exist. And I really appreciate all the support which I have received. So thank you.